just take a big old swig before we get into talking about movies and Star Wars. That's how you do it.
I just don't want to be choking. Just like, oh, it's dry throat.
So, welcome everybody to another CBC podcast. This time we're back with Book the Ticket, and once again we're talking about the big movie industry and how it's moving forward, and at the same time it's moving very much backwards this year. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. As always, I'm your host Armin. I'm here with Mitch.
What's up? And thank you to everyone on Patreon.
Oh yeah.
Isn't
Oh yeah.
we'll
Thank you
go.
everybody. As you've noticed, I've been actually keeping that up and it's scrolling by now. I noticed there was a rendering problem that kind of made it stutter on YouTube, but I think I fixed that with this one, so you'll be able to see those names smoothly across your screen now.
60
Yeah.
frame.
60 frame for audio. That's how we do it, bitches.
We're
Um,
class.
I know, right? So, a lot of stuff is happening in the movie industry now. Just quickly, before we get into this, do you have any interest in seeing it?
No, I'm not gonna say I'm not a big Stephen King fan. I just never got on that train. It's
Okay.
just one I missed. I've never got around to reading the books. I think the last time I spoke about Stephen King on here, I didn't even realize he did Shawshank. It's just kind of
Oh,
like what the
yeah.
fuck.
See, like, the thing with me is, I never knew who Stephen King was till I moved to the US, and it was like 96, 97, and that was like the year they did like the Tommy Knockers was out, and then they did the Stand miniseries and Storm of the Century. So watching those, I inherently became a giant Stephen King fanatic. So now I'll just like watch anything of his, and I've read a few of the books and all that. So I'm super hyped, and like it was never something that scared me. I always found that movie kind of just like middle of the ground for Stephen King work, but I'm super hyped to
Yeah.
see this one because it looks good. So
But it's not all the Stephen King stuff like it goes strangely cosmic.
yeah,
Like,
well,
that just turns left into that realm. It's just like what the fuck?
yeah, because it's like the clown is from space. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So I'm seeing these articles going, oh, its sequel's going to deal with what's his name, Pennywise. Is it Pennywise?
Yep, Pennywise.
Yeah. They're like, oh, his cosmic backstory. I'm like, what the fuck? He's just a scary clown.
I know, dude. It's Stephen King at his best is some of his craziest. Like you're just
Yeah.
like, and like a lot of his stories, either it's God versus devil or from space. So you get
Yeah.
two elements of Stephen King, and you're bound to get one of them in each book you read.
See, that's always something that I grew up liking, that all that stuff. I just never got around to it. I don't know why.
There's a lot of good stuff, but it's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. Like that's a thing, you know. Also, The Shining. That's a good one. All the versions of The Shining, which I think there's two miniseries or a book in a miniseries, and
I
another.
don't know.
I don't remember. I know there was a good stuff on The Shining, but anyway, yeah. Let's get into the top. First up, Mitch. Let me know how disappointed you are that Mutt Williams is not coming to the next Indiana Jones.
Oh, oh, yeah. That character that I actually had to really think about for a second who he actually was. And it's like,
Yep.
oh, yeah.
So uh, I'm kind of going to try to play devil's advocate here because I honestly don't think that the character of Mutt Williams was the worst part of that movie because that movie was the worst part of the movie. And
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
one of the elements you could have actually legitimately made work. And they actually took some elements that made me like him. Like, he completely had that greaser thing going on, which fits the times. And, like, he felt like a product of that age that's a throwback. Just like Indy's a throwback to all that. So he fit, but
Yeah.
I think it was the rest of the movie that made me hate everything else about the movie that I don't
The
want.
movie was just dumb.
Yeah, yeah,
No, it wasn't any character or actor's fault. It was just a dumb movie. It's like,
yep.
oh,
And I think that's like the worst part. That it's like I like Indiana Jones a whole lot. I love the first two movies to nauseum. The third one I'm okay with. The fourth one I watched, and the TV
I,
series I've seen episodes of, and I like that. So I want the next one to be good, and it's Lucasfilm. And as we're going to talk about in a little bit, I don't know if I trust them. Like,
no, they're in a strange spot right now. They're in a really strange spot.
it it's I mean, what do you want from Indiana Jones 4 or 5 or whatever? Because yeah, it's a direct sequel. They said it's just not going to address what happens in 4, so take of that
Yeah.
how you will.
See, I'm not again like an indie. I like Indiana Jones. I
Hmm.
never like held it close and like, oh my God, I have to do this. And it's just I just take it by case basis.
Yep.
I'm okay as long as it's a good movie, to be honest. Like, just don't be as dumb as Crystal Skull because
Yeah.
that was terrible. That was
See,
so stupid.
I'm right there with you with that. I really like the Indiana Jones movies, but they're not like a Star Wars to me or like,
Yeah,
the Spider-Man franchise or Batman 89. They're not something that like I think of my childhood and Indiana Jones jumps out. Like it's something I watched when I was getting older, like the James Bond movies. I'm like, yeah, I like these, but it's not something I'm like so invested into that I like have a giant fan base and like I'm in all those
yeah.
groups. It's like no, it's just I'll take it as it hits me. So
I don't consider it one of the untouchables.
exactly.
Where it's like, no, like, if they wanted to reboot Indiana Jones, I'd say do it.
Yep.
I, Harrison Ford's not going to be around forever. You're eventually going to have to recast someone
Hmm.
in that role. So
Totally.
just cut the cord now, leave them as they are. You still have those. Do something different.
At worst, what could happen, and I think this might happen with Indiana Jones, there's a very likely chance, now that Disney's backing it, they're going to push it as that tentpole. You have to see this. It's an event like Jurassic World and stuff, right?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
going to get so big that people are retroactively going to say that it's a giant part of their childhood, and then they're backed into a corner where they have to recast, but people are going to backlash.
Oh
And,
yeah, yeah.
and like that's happened with other movies before. And I'm just like, but my big thing is, and I know Disney's gonna do this, and I'm not going SJW Disney and Marvel, but I have a strong feeling we're getting a female indie in this movie some point, and they're gonna like try to pass it off to her. Like it's gonna be like
So
a daughter.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a daughter or something he never knew, and she's gonna be like, "Look at me, I'm 23 and I'm sexy." It's like, oh, of course you are,
Yeah.
like,
Brie Larson starring as Indiana Jones.
dude, I'll take it.
Yeah, so
Oh, fuck.
I said it as a joke, thought about it for a second. I was like, actually, yeah, I'd watch it.
That would be fucking
Then again,
amazing.
would like if they did cast or recast as a female, would people then kind of go, "You're just trying to take the Tomb Raider spotlight"?
Well,
Because we got a Vikander as Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider reboot anyway, and if that's good, quote like massive quotes on if,
hmm
because video game movie, but you're kind of then occupying the same space.
well, I think right now it doesn't matter how like what happens to Indiana Jones. This movie in opening weekend is going to make more than all of Tomb Raider in its first month. So,
Oh, yeah, probably.
like,
So,
honestly, I don't think they care and they know they're Disney. Like, you saw Disney, like, what was it, 3 years ago with Ant Man go, oh yeah, Batman v Superman, we're going to drop Ant Man on the same day, and we're Marvel and we know you're moving. And they
yeah,
moved because it's Marvel, it's Disney, it's the brand. Like once you put a Disney movie down, everybody runs away, and Indiana Jones is going to be big. Now, what they do with it, I personally don't care. Just give me a good movie. That's all I ask. I just don't want trash.
yeah. I
That's
think that's all anyone could ask for, really. Like, the only problem with Disney really is you're not gonna get like the Nazi aspect as hard as you did with the other ones.
oh, of course not.
Because it's kind of like, oh, Walt Disney, let's back him away from them.
Yep. Uh,
But yeah,
you'll get some sort of weird element, but it's definitely not going to be that. Which that's honestly I'm okay with that because they already moved like so far in advance forward with Ford. It's only a sequel to that, so it means it's got to be in that same time period. So
yeah.
whatever they do with it.
Actually, let's not get Brie Larson. Let's get Haley Atwell.
Yeah. Oh,
She was
yes.
kind of an Indiana Jones, but a spy
Yeah.
in Carter anyway. So
Yeah.
I could see her in Fedora.
Oh, that would be so perfect. Yeah. So yeah, Indiana Jones. I'm assuming we're gonna find out more stuff next year because it's coming out 2019. So yeah.
It's really that close.
I believe so.
Fucking, I've
I
heard
know.
nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it'll probably get a delay, but it doesn't matter. I mean,
Oh,
they're gonna
well, they're
put it
playing
out.
everything else, so that,
It,
that's
exactly. So yeah. What if they just cast what's his name? What's that dude who's Aiden Aldridge? Is that young Han Solo?
oh, I don't even know. I've kind of that movie's blocked out of my mind.
Yeah. So maybe they'll cast him as young Han Solo. That'd be some fucking poetry right there. Like just double down. He's Han Solo and Indiana Jones. Screw it. Which Why
I was to
not?
say it worked for Harrison Ford. Why not? Let's see. Let's see how it works.
True. Our next big topic here that we're going to talk about is the death of the shared universe. Now, I've seen quite a few people comment about this, and I think this is valid criticism. No one has been able to do it besides Marvel, and I think we're officially now with the DCEU and all that seeing the death of the shared universe.
I disagree. Kevin Smith did it.
I can't tell if you're
all,
trolling me or not.
all his movies were connected.
True, but
He's the only other person in history to pull it off.
Like me personally, I don't think that's gonna happen. It's just that most of these companies don't want to take the time to actually flesh anything out, and it's just they see what Marvel has been able to do so far. Is that what's the quickest way we could copy that and just basically bank off the money? But it hasn't worked out so far because people want to see things build up and characters mature and see where they go from point A to point B over time, not just here's this character, this is what happens. Here's the end product for that character.
Well,
and that is fundamentally the problem. Like Marvel had to get everything done right.
Yeah.
And they had to get everything connected, everything perfect, because this was their last ditch effort.
And
if this didn't succeed, they were fucked. Other studios like Warner Brothers aren't in that position. So they could just rush to the end goal and get that quote Avengers money.
And also, don't forget, it wasn't Disney that did it right. It was Marvel. Because Disney stepped in with Iron Man 2. They started meddling towards the production. But Thor and Captain America, they didn't care much about because they were like, well, if these movies are so cheap, we're not going to meddle with them. But go touch this one because we know what we're doing. And then they saw the backlash and went, you know what? Hands off, do your thing. We're not going to meddle with this, which is why it succeeded. So, and you see kind of elements of this when other studios, like Disney's having trouble with it with Star Wars to a degree because people are just going, why is this? And the ultimate one this week is they announced a brand new Dracula movie. And surprise, surprise, it's not connected to the shared Monsters universe.
Yeah. Well, that's never going to happen.
No, I think that franchise is more... Like, I mean, sure, Europe and China saved the mummy because, god damn it, but I honestly don't think they can recover.
Mummies. I don't know what to tell you. We like mummies. So.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
I mean,
See, if it was an Underworld movie, that would have made a fucking killing.
Yeah. Like,
I loved it.
The Underworld and Resident Evil movies are by the book. They say, spend no more than $53 million and you're going to make $190 back. In every movie, they do the same thing and always make the same profit. Like, those movies are just like it's like a printing factory over there. They're like made in a freaking, vacuum. Like, it's...
And I will fully admit I'm part of that problem. I fucking love the Underworld movies.
Well, it's becoming a TV series, if you remember, so...
But it's really weird, even for, like, the Resident Evil franchises, that over on the East, they like their white women and explosions.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't like white women and explosions?
That didn't save Ghost in this show, but...
Oh. So, where do you see the shared universe concept, I'm going to call it, going forward from this? Do you actually see it, like, being able to sustain itself for the visible future? Because I personally, I don't think, I think studios are now, Warner Brothers is pulling away from it already.
I think, like, the only other one that could potentially be a success is the legendary Kaiju universe, because for what it is, they have established that, Godzilla's been around for a while, and so has Kong to a certain extent.
But isn't Kong a newer Kong? Like, hasn't there been a line of Kongs in there?
Yeah, on the island there's like a line of Kongs, and this current one, to make him bigger, they just said he was basically a child, so he's gonna grow.
Oh, okay.
Wait, have you not seen the new Kong?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
I don't go out to watch the kaiju movies. I wait till they come to me. It's like I'll watch them. I enjoy them, but I'm not going to go out my way to watch.
No joke. Kong Skull Island is my favorite movie this year. I don't think it's the best. It's definitely not. But the enjoyment I get out of watching that movie, because it's the stupidest, most just ridiculous kaiju thing you could want. It's not like Godzilla where they don't focus on the title character. It's like, no, you want to see King Kong rip shit up. That's what you're getting. I'm like, hell yeah, I do. Like, they deliver what they promise, you know?
I always thought it looked good, so I'm not going to sit here and say, no, I'm not going to watch it, but
yeah,
I'll just wait for it to be on demand.
But there's also the problem with the whole thing, because Tristan brings it up, and that's true, but that's apparently ending once the crossover is done. Like, how do you, once you cross these giant beasts over?
I think if that movie does well, they'll do something with it.
You'd think they have to, right?
It would have to, because even like if we go back to where kaiju movies started from in Japan, companies have tried to do crossover movies if it was profitable, because like they tried doing Gamera and Godzilla, but they couldn't come to an agreement because basically it just came down to money to see which company would get how much of the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's the thing: like you wait after the crossover, the next thing they'll do is they'll do a Pacific Rim thing, and they'll just get the way.
Godzilla just comes through a rift.
I honestly think the Pacific Rim crossover would make a lot of sense. They'll be like, we dove through the rift, but something went wrong. A solar flare hit us because science fiction, and now we're here. Gotta fight Godzilla and Kong. It's like, all right, I'll take it. Fuck it, you know?
And then you just do stuff like that. Like, if Power Rangers was actually good and successful, you could have had a Power Rangers crossover.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's bring in Voltron and do Let's just go crazy with these, like, kaiju movies.
I wish so bad. So bad. Because I love the whole kaiju concept, but I honestly think that now that you see DC has announced, we're doing all these spin-offs, and other people have come out being like, oh, Warner Brothers is taking all these pitches for standalone movies. I think you're going to slowly start to see people back away from that idea because they don't want to invest the time, and it hurts them in the long run when it comes to the reviews, because people are like, well, this doesn't match up, so, didn't get a point. It's like,
yeah.
And
it's just that flaw of, like, it's something they don't, like, studios like to cut corners and do something quickly.
Yep.
And the shared universe concept, by nature, you can't rush it.
Exactly.
You have to take your time with it. And it's just like, well, we're not going to put our money in to get this. No. It's just like, okay, well.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get more money in the long run than you would in the short term, but
it doesn't matter to them, Like, the suit doesn't even know what you're talking about. He just wants profit tomorrow before the quarter ends, and you're like, but this is going to take 5 years. And he goes, 5 years? I could be dead by then. I'm taking Viagra to even stay alive, Like, yeah, it's a rush job. But shared universes, I'm assuming we're going to keep talking about them here on CBC for the very distant future. So.
Yeah, you could probably see like the shared universe being really like condensed to certain franchises because they, like you said, took the time to actually plan it out.
Oh, totally. That's exactly what's happening.
There's going to be a day, and it's going to be soon, where someone is just going to make it like. Actually, no, it's already happened. Like M. Night Shyamalan, he's made his own connected universe.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers. I haven't even seen the movie, but spoilers. So someone's going to do like he's done, make a completely original one. It's just going to keep growing and growing, and you're probably going to get so you have the big two, but I don't ever see it being a large studio. Like each studio has their own one sort of thing.
I mean, God knows they want to, but they can't get it done. I mean, Fox can't even get it done. Like, and they're like the second up. Like, they're literally the second place, and you look at them, you're like, that's a shared universe, huh?
See, I don't count the Fox movies as a shared universe because they're all. I suppose they kind of are, but they all seem like sequels to each other.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you look at Marvel, they are franchise blocks that come into one. Whereas X-Men, just X-Men. I mean, you could say maybe Deadpool is a franchise. No, but I don't know. That's just how I've seen it anyway. It's like that's a line
where you're coming from.
Is the shared universe?
Yeah. Well, that's that for shared universe. So, Star Wars, man. I really want to keep talking about Star Wars in a more positive light, but this past, couple days, it's been kind of crazy. And then you have the director of Star Wars Episode 9. He leaves the project, and once again, creative differences are the source of the problem.
It's always going to be creative differences.
Always.
It's always going to be the line they give, but I think it's time that Kathleen Kennedy realizes she has to loosen that grip a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
let directors do what you got them to do.
Yeah.
It's no, and
I mean,
they need to learn that Iron Man 2 lesson.
I mean, like,
Let
how
go.
many times would you want to see a Death Star explode?
I mean, apparently 8, but
Yeah,
but-
it's still unconfirmed, but because there's like that weird box art that shows the Last Jedi, and the Death Star looks like an older one, but it has markings, and the dish is slightly higher than what it is in the actual Star Wars stuff. So people are like, well,
I've been told that's just a stock image on the packaging, but there is that screenshot from what is it, Empire?
mm-hmm.
Has Poe Dameron's X-wing. It looks a lot like the Death Star in the background.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say for certain it is because I don't know any better. For me, it could just be that Star Destroyer Snoke has, which I'd probably put money on it is,
Yeah.
and hope it is.
I-
If there is another Death Star, then I don't know. I think I'm done. I've seen this movie 6 times already.
The thing is, if people know, if you think I'm hating on Star Wars, go watch my Star Wars reviews of the comics, and go look at my collection that I upload on like online and all that. I have every single issue so far from Marvel's, Disney's, tons of variants. Like I love Star Wars, but I'm getting into this thing where I'm worried about repetition, and it's slowly becoming in there. And a lot of people I'm talking to are feeling the same fatigue as I am, and it's nothing against what they're doing, but I think they're playing it too safe. And say what you will about the prequels, and God knows I've trashed them enough. You look at those, at least they visually looked somewhat different. Like the Naboo Starfighter, I hate that fucking thing, but at least
I love it.
like they looked different than a goddamn X-wing. Like,
Yeah, it did.
Like change stuff up. They didn't have AT-ATs like in the Clone Wars. I guess you could say they had like the proto ones, you know, that the clone troopers used.
That's the thing. My problem with one of the problems with the prequels is you can tell everything's a prototype for what's to come.
Yup.
Like those little satellite things with the little half donut with the ball in the middle. You could tell it's a prototype Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh look, it's a ship they got to blow up. It's got a sphere in it. Then there's more spheres in the second one, and then they got to do this in the third one. And you know, it's all very small and like cramped. And it's like, can we just grow bigger and like get away from just go to a different corner of this fucking universe. Ignore everything that's happened in this bit. Just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean,
And do something.
they could like use like the excuse where Ray and Finn have to go and find artifacts. You take you to different parts of the galaxy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to be trying to save the galaxy from another Death Star.
And there's so much I think you can do with Star Wars, and there's so much reach and abilities and things you can go out there and like mine. And if it turns out Episode 8 has another Death Star, and I hope to God this isn't the scenario. I hope to God it's not like, hey, look, the entire movie, Snoke has this giant Star Destroyer thing, right? He's floating around, it's cool. And then at the end, they do like that Empire Strikes Back, because I have a feeling that's how it's going to end. And we see them like looking over a construction of a new Death Star. Like at that point, Episode 9 is dead to me. More dead than Colin Trevorrow walking away. Like it's just, I couldn't handle that, honestly.
I think a lot of people feel the same way because the growing quote fatigue of Star Wars, it is getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am seeing more and more people kind of turn off to the idea of it, and it's not because the movie. Well, Rogue One was bad, but Force Awakens, it was just a copy, but it wasn't a bad movie.
Like
it was like a good jumping on point for new fans.
Yeah,
getting.
But the biggest flaw people say is it's just A New Hope, which it is.
Yeah,
at the core.
Like a bunch of my friends and I, like my friend Adam, we were talking. I was like, I bet you there's going to be a thing in the Han Solo movie where he goes to Jeddah, you know, the planet that gets blown up in Rogue One with the test. And at some point, he's going to be coming out, doing his wisecracking, thing. And he's going to bump into a dude. And it's going to be Saw Gerrera. He's going to be like, hey, you should join a cause. He's going to be like, I'm no rebel, I tell you. I just can't handle that at this point. It's, as much as I'm actually excited for Han Solo, I really want to see that movie because I like the character, but it's just kind of getting to this point where I need freshness, and I think they feel the same way, because why are you hiring all these directors who clearly have a certain vision and style, and then creative differences they're leaving, and then you're making a by-the-book movie that you want to make? So why are you spending all this money paying all these dudes that you're not going to keep around, you know?
Yeah, I don't understand it. That's my biggest thing. That why, like you've clearly got them because you liked their idea. Why are you then like grabbing them by the sack and going, no, you're going to do our thing? It's the Warner Bros. Mentality. Like Star Wars is very quickly becoming the new
It
DCU.
is. It really is. In the
And
worst way possible.
yeah, and that might get me some shit, but I don't care.
I'm fully
It's
agreeing with you, and I'm a fucking Star Wars
yeah.
fan. Dude, I still have Star Wars bed sheets. That shit's on my bed. Like,
Ugh.
yeah, I know. I'm
Ugh.
sleeping on the First Order, man. Like that shit's comfy. So, like I don't know what to tell you. I need something. I hope Episode 8 completely blows us away, and it's nothing that we picture. But in my mind, because I've seen it with Attack of the Clones, trying to mimic Empire, I feel like, oh, at some point, is Rey gonna lose her hand? Who's losing their hand?
Something. We've already had a character who's been hurt by one of the lightsabers. It's just kind of like, oh, the bad guy's now got scars on his face that have to mimic Anakin. It's just like, come on, like,
Yeah.
get away from all that. I know, like, for this trilogy, they're kind of like tied down to the others, like just because of the older characters. But after this, can we just go like 10,000 years in the future?
Yeah.
Let's just go away, do something completely different.
Here's I would love it if Episode 8 ends and Kylo Ren and Rey are literally like, you know what? No, we're both Sith, and Luke is like, oh shit, I gotta stop them now because I created both of them. Like, completely throw us for a loop we don't expect, because right now I feel like, even though I haven't seen Episode 8 or 9, I feel like I know every beat and how exactly it's gonna end. So I'm like,
That's the fault of the Force Awakens, because they've just copied A New Hope, and then you got Rogue One, which is just sticking to the old films. Obviously, it had to.
yeah,
But it's that you've got that mentality of now. Oh, I know what they're gonna do.
yeah.
Like they've done it once, and they're kind of it. You can see it being steered in that direction, and hopefully it just flicks a left. But I don't know. And I even feel like, even if they did just go, oh look, here's a twist, Kylo's good and Rey goes bad. It's like, well, everyone said that's going to happen from the start. And I know that's no fault of the movie itself, but it's kind of like, oh, like even that's going to feel a bit of a letdown to me. But
Same. But at least it's something fresh. Like, ooh, look,
it's true.
Yeah.
I just hope that I can see them being good movies, and I think that is all they're going to be.
But that's the thing. Like, I really like Force Awakens. Hell, I love Rogue One. Like, I know I'm in the super minority, but I love the hell out of that movie. And
if you look at most people, you're in the majority. I'm in the minority. I know.
Really? Because mostly everybody around me is like, meh.
Every time I tell someone I don't like Rogue One, they look like I'm about to get lynched. It's just kind of like, calm down. It's just Suicide Squad Star Wars. But, it's what it is.
It is what it is. I'll say this about Star Wars, though. The best quality Star Wars thing that Disney has done to date is Star Wars Rebels. That is really the best. It's so fucking good. Oh my god.
And I just thought about that because they said that Star Killer was going to be in Rebels.
Yeah, but they booted that shit because they don't want people bitching. So
people were bitching already when they found out.
Let's not put shitty characters in here. No.
Agreed.
Having a tough time as it is. Let's not put in like edgelords.
Yeah, I didn't like Star Killer. Nope, not one. That was a podcast. We had 3 big old topics. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We got a lot of, like extended universe talk, I guess you could say, in here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been an interesting summer. Hey, it's definitely the worst summer in 11 years. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hopefully next year.
Well, next year, comic book movies are gonna save the year because there's like 9 of them.
I mean, there was 7 this year and they've saved it, but it's not enough.
No, next year don't forget. Next year we have Venom to save the day.
Oh yeah, I forgot. How can I forget?
How could you forget the greatness of Venom? It's coming.
Yeah, I'll be blinded by Black Panther.
Oh,
that movie's so close. It's not even funny.
That is my number 1 most anticipated movie next year. That and then Pacific Rim.
I don't know what my number 1 is.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
Don't you want to see him bump into Saw Gerrera and go, "I'm no rebel," and wink at him?
I think I want to see him anyway. Oh,
God damn.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, that would be a movie. That'd be something.
Yeah. Well, next year, literally, when I did that chart, I think there's like 10 or 11 comic book movies coming out. It is a stacked year for comic book movies next year. Like, it's almost ridiculous to a degree.
So what we got? We got Black Panther, Infinity War. Is Ant-Man next year?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think July and
Aquaman.
Aquaman, New Mutants,
Mutants,
Venom,
yeah.
Deadpool, X-Men Dark Phoenix, Miles Morales animated. Dude, it's a stacked fucking year for comic book movies. I don't even understand.
Gonna
It's
say
too
that's
much.
9.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's some other stuff too. I can't remember it, but well, no, because I think DC's officially removing that one. Because remember they were gonna rush the movie, but it looks like they haven't started production yet. So
That's true. That's true. Well, they could still do it. I imagine.
yeah.
You'll get like Suicide Squad 2.
Blah.
It's just like, let's push that one out.
Regurgitating. Can't stop. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Hopefully you enjoy this podcast, and make sure you tune into the main CBC show tomorrow, and go like and rate all this, and follow us on all those things that I mentioned in the main CBC podcast, because that's where you should go. Go.